Hey, what is up, guys? Tyler here with Secure Team, and I gotta say, if what we are going to look at here, if it is what I think it is, or at least if this is what it looks like, well, NASA is going to need to answer some questions that we're gonna have, and probably will in sometime in the near future make this image unavailable, which is why I'm happy that I got, some good screen capture of it and photographs, and we're going to analyze it here. So as you read in the title of the video, something has been discovered down on the moon, okay? So you say, well, how was it discovered? Well, if you've been following the channel for years, you'll know that there are thousands upon thousands of lunar photographs out there on the web, posted by NASA and other various space agencies. Okay, we have probes, multiple probes flying around the moon that have been there for years, since the 1960s, mapping the moon, taking high-resolution, well, in some cases, high-resolution photographs of the lunar surface. So I want to show you yet again another strange, anomalous structure that has just been discovered sitting on our moon. Okay, so you can see it right away here. We'll go ahead and take this off, and we'll zoom out just a little bit just to show you how easily this thing sticks out like a sore thumb, this white square that I'm talking about here. And you wouldn't really know it's there unless you truly zoomed in, and I think NASA counts on that. They don't think that there's enough people in the world to scour the thousands of images and to actually find things like this. But basically, we zoomed down on the moon here, and a few other people on another channel discovered what appeared to be a white or gray in color square building and or outpost or structure, whatever you want to call it, sitting atop a mountain overlooking a number of surrounding craters. Now, the first thing I want to point out about this is that the object does not seem to be a glitch or anything of that nature. This object has shadowing to it, and the shadowing around the structure correlates perfectly with where the sun is in the shot. So as we zoom in here, you can see the square building. This would be, an overhead bird's eye view of imagine a white, perfectly squared building. As you zoom in further, you can actually see two sort of little prongs or ramps or doors or a hangar of some sort. We just don't know. But there's definitely some physical structural features here that you can find on many buildings here on Earth. Now again, there's also some shadows being casted by the building because the sun is coming down from the top right behind the building. So that means the top of the building would be in sunlight, which it is. However, there would be a slight shadow being cast by the building on the ground, which would be this right here, this dark shadow, which when you look at the other craters around, the surrounding crater edges, they too, through their light and shadowing, perfectly correlate with where the sun was in the sky when this satellite image was snapped, which simply doesn't happen in a glitch. Okay, glitches don't have shadows. As we zoom out here, I quickly noticed that this square anomaly, we'll call it, this square structure, was not just sitting in some random area of the moon where you could think, well, why is that there? There's no point. It's just a glitch. No, again, it's not. Because when you actually go down to the 3D view where Google has mapped out the actual three-dimensional terrain of the moon, this is what you get. And you quickly find that this little white building is actually sitting atop, dead center, sitting atop a mountain. The perfect view of all of the craters and the areas of the moon surrounding it for miles. And as we looked around that area, we certainly did find a few strange things. For instance, the site with which this anomalous white building was found is no more than around 35 miles away from the Apollo 15 landing site. And when you're in Google Earth, you can take out your measuring tool, mark the Apollo 15 site, as I'm showing you guys here, mark it back up to where the anomaly was found, and I mean, that's just right across the street, guys, from the Apollo 15 landing site, where we had astronauts out on the ground, walking around for miles, riding doom buggies around for miles, doing their EVAs, and who knows what else. We don't know what else they did while they were on the moon. They surely did take footage, and they had a pre-rehearsed script that told them what to say while they were being recorded, and what to do, and what they would talk about when they were talking to maybe the president or people from Earth. But there were also times while they were up there on the moon where they would be alone, where they would be out of satellite or radio contact, and no one knows where they went or what they were doing. And so I do find it a little strange that this object sitting atop a mountain, right almost dead center, is just right across the way. I mean, from this angle and from this mountain peak, you can actually see the Apollo 15 landing areas and craters. And it'd be, the perfect outpost to put a building to monitor such a landing, if that is what it was for. I have just one more thing to point out, which is that this white building here, or what looks like a white building, reminded me of another instance, which we did a video about, an entire video about, where it was discovered in a photograph. There's a photograph that was released by NASA of a couple of NASA employees sitting at a desk, got computers in front of them, and underneath one of the hands of the guy sitting at the desk is a photograph of the moon. It's obviously a photo of the moon. And it was very high res, so when people zoomed in onto that photograph of the moon, they were shocked to find, right almost in the dead center of the photograph, what appeared to be a large three-dimensional square building, sitting smack dab right there on the photograph, crystal clear. You're seeing it here. And at the time that this photograph was taken, the reason that they had these lunar photos in the computers was that at the time they were planning on crashing a probe that they had up there circling the moon. They had planned on crashing it into a crater to see if they could cause an explosion that would release, a giant cloud of water, because it had recently been found that there were water deep down in some of these dark craters, ice water. But when people started looking at them using that particular photo, showing photos of what appeared to be buildings on the moon, that changed the whole game, and people started wondering, well, what were they really aiming at? And what did they really want to hit down there on the moon and destroy? Was it this obvious building sitting smack dab in an official moon photograph under this guy's hand, of a NASA employee on his desk? Was this object, this building, some sort of threat that they were attempting to neutralize? You never know. We never got a straight answer, and NASA never explained it. And if they did, they didn't explain it well. But I think any of you guys, if you know enough about NASA and the moon, and you look at a photograph like this, there's no mirage here. You can see a building plain as day. It looks to even have an arrow drawn on the photograph pointing to the building. So add this in with everything we've spoken about today, not to mention the hundreds of photographs that people have shared online and I've shared on this channel showing other anomalous buildings and structures and outposts, things that look like buildings here on Earth scattered amongst the moon. And heck, you can just do a Google search of buildings on the moon or alien bases on the moon, and you will get thousands of Google images showing these various anomalies. So with that, I will stop talking your leg off. Tell me what you guys think. I'll put the cords down below. Again, you have to download Google Earth, install it, and then you put in the cords, switch it to moon, put in the cords. Tell me what you think. I think we have something here. And I don't know if if they're going to fix it, if they're going to erase it, if they're going to ignore it. Who knows? But I think that we have something here, and I'm happy to share it with you guys today because, videos like this take me back to my roots. The moon and the mystery surrounding it are what got me into this business. The business of researching the unexplainable and the uncovering of things that have been covered up for years for very good reasons. So tell me what you guys think. We'll be back to work tomorrow. I'll have a new video up, so stay tuned, stay safe, and I'll see you back in just a bit.